Hello, welcome back to my channel, Scrap and Coffee. This will be the final video for our first latte project, the Mint and Mistletoe folio. Basically we need to finish up decorating with some final details, like placing some embellishments and making some photo mats. So that's exactly what we are going to do in this video. In the last video we did our cover and we finished up all the basic decorating inside. And yeah, let's continue. First of all, I have this sheet with cutter parts that I think I just kept it together up until this point. Right now I'm just going to cut them all apart and see what we will use and what we won't use. But I'm pretty sure I'm not going to use that black solid on anything else. So I'm just going to cut all of these apart in my paper trimmer. So we have those to go as well. Then I have a little plate here where I can throw my embellishments on, so I can keep them a little bit organized. So I can take this back piece away for now as well. And what I have is, I have some white copy paper this time, because I'm gonna do some layering and I wanna keep the bulk down as much as I can. But I also have some thicker white cardstock for if I want to make my photo mats removable. I will talk about that a little bit more in a second when we are getting there. And I have my base black cardstock out. I try to use most of all scrap pieces that I've already cut up, so we can make photo mats out of that, but sometimes you need to cut into a new sheet. But I have that ready to go as well. So let's cut this up and then let's start adding some embellishments to this album, right? Okay, so I've got them cut out. Not everything is cut perfect, but I always worry about that when I decide to use the card, because otherwise I'm going to be spending time on cutting all of this perfect right now and I may not even use it. So let's do that when we decide to use it. So most of them are 3x4 cards, and then there are two that are 3x3, and then what is this, 1x3 I guess. So just try to keep that together a little bit so we can go through them if we want to use it. And we still have our sticker sheet. I have all these strips that came off the paper, right? I know I want to use a few of them. So if you have the luxury of something like this as well, that's great. If you don't have it, you can maybe use to use the same technique as I'm going to do, just scrap pieces of your pattern paper, right? So I know I want to be using these ones. This one is still attached on the paper, so now I'm at it. I'm going to cut that off as well. Okay, I'm going to put the other strips a little bit to the side. And keep that away from the bigger scrap pieces of paper that I have. Okay, I try to stay a little organized, but it's very challenging with this part of the decorating. Okay, so those strips I want to work with. There are a few things that I know I want to do, and I think that's just the easiest to start with. When we open up the folio, we have our stacked pockets here, and I like to make a little extra decorative strip on here. I think maybe one will actually do the job here, right? But I want to back that with some black cardstock for some making it pop up. So I'm measuring this piece, which is 3/8 of an inch. It's not completely straight, I see. Is the other one better? I think this one is a little bit more straight. So I just measure, and it's in between 3/8 and half an inch. So I'm going to cut my pieces of black cardstock just over half an inch. So I have a small black border on both sides, top and bottom. So I just have scrap pieces here. I can see if I can make this work, but I need to be able to line it up in my paper trimmer. That's my challenge personally. So I also have like this piece, which maybe makes it a little easier for me. But on the other hand, I can use that for a photo mat as well. And now I just pray that it gives me the border that I want. It doesn't need much, just a little. This is fine, perfect. I'm happy with that. Okay, And then I'm going to measure, and I'm measuring the pattern paper, what we cut the pattern paper to, and that was just a hair under 5 1/4 for both sides, I guess. Yeah, so I'm going to cut 2 out of this one for it. You can also mark it with your pencil and then cut it. And then I have a small piece left, but that's gonna go in the garbage. And then I'm going to do the same thing for my black strip. So the other thing that I can do is line it up and mark where I need to cut it. Cut it with my scissors, for example. And I think I need my ink blending tool still. So just line up the cut edges here, and then I mark up to where it comes there, and I will just cut it with my scissors. I'm also working on another project and I'm using a different color ink for it, so but I only have one of these with me. Okay, so I'm going to ink that strip and I'm going to stick that on the black for a little border. Okay, some glue. So this one I'm just going to stick down completely. Okay. So when placing this, I'm just lining up the cut edge there and try to even out the black on both sides. If you have a little bit more of a black border than I have here, that's all fine, right? Okay, now I don't know how well you notice it on camera, but the stars on here are a little bit more orientated towards the top from this point of view than towards the bottom. So you might want to think about that when you place it in the album. I think I like it like that. So I need to do the same thing for this strip, right? So I'm going to repeat this quickly. Okay, so we have 2 of those, and now I'm going to make sure that again the stars are more orientated towards the top. And now I need to decide like how high do I want it on here? Do I want to have that difference? You can play with it. I think I'm going to do the same height. And there are a couple of things that we can do. You can glue this down completely and just have it like decorative thing, or you can glue down the sides only and then it becomes a sort of a belly band and you can place something behind it, or glue 3 sides where it comes a little bit of a tuck spot. Now personally I feel this is a little bit of a small strip to make it a belly band or a tuck spot. So I'm just going to glue it down completely. It will just be decorative. We have a stack pocket there, so that's going to be totally fine. But I am going to eyeball for myself like how high do I want this. So I think I like this. And then I just measure, and that is 3/4 of an inch measured from the edge of my pattern paper, of the green pattern paper. So that is what I'm aiming for. You can make a little pencil mark for yourself. I'm not sure how well we are going to see that. I'll probably use my ruler while I'm sticking it down to make sure that it's all straight. Can also depend on the embellishment that you want to use on here, how high you're placing it. But I mostly look at what looks good to me. So now I just use my ruler to make it straight from lined up with the pattern paper that was already there. Stick it in place. So let's do the same thing for this one. And then I can see if there is some sort of an embellishment that I want to stick on there. Or maybe this is enough for you, that's also possible. So again, same thing. Might want to have a little bit of a starting point for myself on where this is about to go. So I don't push too hard yet, because I want to use my ruler to really make sure that it's the same height as the other one. I'm precise like that. You don't have to be. Really, you don't have to be. Okay, so that's on there. We can burnish that, of course, if we want to. And then going through some of the embellishments. I often like to group embellishments, but not always. Sometimes I think just one is just fine. So something like this could be great. You can also look around, and that's what we're gonna do more in the album. Like, okay, are there any colors that I need to incorporate to make it a cohesive look? So I could think like, oh, I need to add some of that craft brown on here. Not there yet. Don't know how I like that completely. I have this flower here. It can be nice. And you don't have to do it on both sides, but you can if you want to. Maybe something like that, but I don't really feel like doing that. I want to do it on one side only. I kind of like the flower there. So why should I think about it any longer? What you can do if you want to, I often back my embellishments with black cardstock to make them pop, but lately I don't really feel like it because I kind of killed my brother's scan and cut, and I don't have, if I didn't kill it, I still wouldn't have it right now, but yeah, so I have to fuzzy cut all of that by hand and not always feeling like it, but I came across what for me a new tool. I'm waiting for it to be delivered, and then I might do a video on it to see if I like it. Okay, so I'm just putting it on here and I'm eyeballing for myself. Okay, where does that glue need to be? I need a strip here somewhat along the middle. I can also glue it down completely, right? Or you can pop it up with a pop dot, or I don't really have to be worried about if I have glue here or here that it's not functional anymore, because it doesn't have to be functional. But by keeping it loose, it gives you the feeling of dimension, if that makes sense. If I stick this down, it would feel way more flat for some reason because it's so pushed into position. Now it's just coming off the page, there's a little bit of shade under there, and that just helps with that feeling of dimension without using a pop dot and reducing the bulk. And if you want to, you can still, if you have a small thing, you can still put that behind there if you really want to, but again, you don't really need to. Okay, so I think I like that decorating wise. So now I need to think about photos. How do I want to put my photos in these pockets? Now, because it's a stack pocket, what I often do is use different photo sizes, not only in stack pockets, but through my whole project. But in a stack pocket, I would use some larger photo sizes in the back pocket. And we can go up to a 7x5 in here. And let me double check that. Yeah, but you have to be a little bit careful with if you do a background mat, because the biggest thing that you can put in here is probably 5 1/8 by 7 1/8 to keep it all functional. But the photo sizes that I've decided to use in this album are 6x4 or full size, 10x15 centimeters if that's what you use. And then you think, oh, that's really good to know that that's 10 by 15 centimeters, but I'm not able to tell you that for the other sizes, by the way. But I have here 3.5 by 5. That's one of my new favorite sizes to use in projects that I really enjoy. And I have some 3x4 inches. And what I do in stack pockets is I would do some of the larger ones in the back pocket and some smaller ones in the front pocket, and then maybe even use 3 different sizes on one page. It creates interest. So I've cut out some of those already. Sometimes I use that as templates to see how I like that. I can also think, well, I don't want to have a third photo there. Maybe I want to have a card there. That's also possible, right? But what I do for these, and you don't have to use the white cardstock if you have your photos, of course, or if you are going to put in photos later on, but I just want to give you a visual finished look. I would use some black cardstock to make a background mat for this, and then the white is my photo. So if I stick the white cardstock on here, I would do that with a repositionable glue or a removable glue. Normally I use a glue stick by Scotch that I absolutely love. I don't have it with me, but I found here the same thing, only it's from Elmer's. I haven't tried it yet. It's Elmer's Craft Bond Repositionable Glue Stick. It's acid-free, photo-safe, non-toxic. I'm gonna give it a try, and I'm believing that I'm gonna love this just as much as the Scotch. But we'll see. But it's quick. It's you don't have to wait for any drying for it to be repositionable first. It's just easy to do. So if you want to do some white cardstock in there, then that is a really good option to use. So you can take that out and then put your photo on and reduce your bulk. So this is a 3x4. So I would cut my photo mat. You can do for a 1/8 inch border, 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. On my photo mats, I often feel that that's a little bit much of a border. I like it to be a little less. So I'm going to cut it basically a hair under 3 1/4 by a hair under 4 1/4. So that would be something like this. And I'm going to glue that on there. I don't have my camera stamps or anything with me, so I'm not able to use that right now, which is totally fine. You can do a doodle on there if you think it's too blank, but so I would just use some of that glue stick on here. And just stick it on. Now I feel like this is a little plain. I'm gonna take this out for a second. I'm not gonna make 300 photo mats with you because that's going to be like really boring. But just to give you an idea, just decide your photo sizes, and this is what I do. Decide for a little doodle on your photo mat or something. If you have a camera stamp or a place photo here stamp, something like that, you can put it on there and you have a little photo mat to go in there. So that's just a simple photo mat. If you have enough scrap pieces of paper, yes, you can decorate the back, but always keep the bulk of your project in mind. So that's why I often don't have pattern paper on the back of my photo mats. But yeah, sure, you can absolutely do that. And you can even put pattern paper on here and then place your photo on it, right? That's whatever you prefer. Be my guest. But I had another fun idea in my mind for this stack pocket. I want to have something that's a little longer, but I have to do a little bit of a mat. So I want to have, let's say 2 3/8 makes 4 3/4. It would just work if I do 7 1/8 of an inch. I can make it work by 2 3/8. And then I want to fold it over. So I need another 2 3/8. I think I can always cut it down. So 7 1/8, 9 1/2. Okay, I'm going to cut a piece. Let me see if I have a big scrap piece. Yes, I do. I'm gonna go for 9 3/4, and I can always cut it down afterwards. So I'm gonna go for 9 3/4 by 2 and just under 2 1/2. Okay, I have something to work with now. What I have in mind is like a photo booth strip. Last year with Christmas, I accidentally ended up with 3 really cute pictures, one of each of my children in front of the Christmas tree, and I made that into a little photo booth strip, and that turned out so cute that I want to do something like that in this album as well, and hopefully I can reproduce those cute photos this year as well. And I'm going to make white background with copy paper to reduce bulk, because I'm going to keep them in place this time. You can also do the thing with the cardstock that I just did, or place your photo down right away. But I'm going to do white photo mats out of copy paper, 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 squares, and I'm going to do 4. Okay, that didn't cut as perfect as I wanted to, but that's all good. So on these photo mats I can do 2 by 2 photos, right? It's just going to be for small photos. So I want to stick this on here with a little bit of a border all around. When I use copy paper, I don't use wet glue to glue it down permanently, because you're definitely gonna see those glue lines through your copy paper. Often I use just 1/8 inch double-sided tape or something, but that's going to take forever on the video. So when I came to Australia, I bought from We Are Memory Keepers a big set with the scoreboard and the cutting mat and scissors, and it also had a tape runner. So let's use it. I have it, right? I'm not sure how well I can work with this, but it's probably quicker than having to put on double-sided tape and peel off all the tape backing. Just a little more. It needs to go on in one go, I guess. So I'm just aiming for an even border. If I'm a little off, like I am, I'm not going to be too stressed about it. So I'm going to place down 4. And to be honest, working with cardstock, like for the white, makes it a little bit more stronger. So sometimes it's a little bit easier to work with. Okay, I also really wonder how straight this white paper, like I said, it didn't cut really well like I wanted to. It kind of takes away from the idea that I have. It doesn't look as good as I want it to look. I might do this off camera, give it another try, see if I can get it better, but I want to give you an idea. This is so not straight. Look at that. Okay, so now I have 3 of them on here, and I want to fit a 4th one there. Okay, I can do that, but I'm going to make a little score line there first to make it be able to fold, because now it's too long to go in here, right? So I want to have that black border just above that white as well, of course, on both sides. So my white is coming up to here. So I just move my cardstock onto where I can line it up where I want it. So I'm just moving it a little bit like that. Maybe a hair more. Make it a score line. Now I only scored it on the wrong side because I like to fold towards the bumpy side and not the dented side, but that's fine. Okay, so then we got this. And then I can stick this one on here and cut it off. You can also make it even longer and make it in, you know, get a decorative edge or something there. But I'm going to stick this one on. And then I need to cut off that black a little bit there. So I just try to do that somewhat even, but you see how crooked this is? No, don't worry about it. So what I want to do, so there will be pictures on here, and or you can do a couple of pictures and some journaling. Of course, that would work as well. And place it in here. And like I said, you can make this even longer and make it into sort of a tag spot. You can do a little hole punch with some lace or ribbon or something, so you can really decorate this up a little bit more, but by folding it I can have 4 pictures and it fits. But be careful, there is one thing that I want to share with you. I don't always keep it in mind making my projects, but actually you do want to keep it in mind. When you have something like this and you have a photo here and a photo here, and it can also be that it's on a page in your album, right? And you're gonna keep that closed, your photos might stick together. And then when you have them in there for a while and you want to look at it, you open it up, you might ruin your photo because they are stuck together. So always keep in mind, where are you going to place photos, and maybe you want to put a little protection layer between two photos if they really end up touching each other while the album is closed. So just a little thing that you need to keep in mind. You can again add some of those doodle lines to make it a little bit more fun to look at. And if I would do this again, I would definitely do it more neat. So this is not in the cutting guide, right? This is just extra, and you can make your own version of it. And of course you can use some scrap pieces to decorate this. Let's see what we have. Something small and something that would work with what we already have. Maybe I can use the blue because I just added the blue flower. And then I want to do something fun. Okay, so let's cut this. It should be 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 as well. But if you decide to make it longer or anything, then it can be different for you, right? So keep that in mind. Just measure, keep the black border in mind, and cut your piece to size. Okay, stick that on. You can add a little embellishment on here just on top of this. But when I have this in my pocket, this is going to flip and flap around. So I want to think of something that I can do to make that less of a problem. Okay, so again, I have a long piece of black scrap paper and I'm gonna cut, I think, 1/2 inch. Let's see. Yeah, that's fine. And I am going to place it on my piece. I'm not gonna do too much measuring here. I'm going to fold it over, and it will, I can cut it off. Make sure that you have about 1/2 inch overlapping. So I'm just going to cut it there with my scissors. That should be fine. And then I want to have about a 3/8 inch strip. And that can be something like this. To have it come back. I'm not sure if I'm gonna like that. It can also be the brown. It has to be something contrasting with the blue. And I don't want to have too much different stuff going on there. Something that is long enough to go on here. So not this one. And make a strip 3/8 of an inch. Okay, that will work. Again, I'm just going to mark where I can cut it to size. If it's not perfect, it's all fine. I'm not going to see it. Ink this. Now I feel that my desk is already one big mess. But I will tell you this. The other day I was sick last week and I had some sort of infection in my throat. It wasn't really fun, but luckily it all got better pretty quick. But I was watching a YouTube video, a tutorial, and I don't want to talk bad about somebody because that's not what I'm intent to do, but it's the glue bottles were flying over the table, the double-sided tape got stuck on everything, stuff got inked up what shouldn't be inked up, just like what happened right here. And I was looking at it and I was really like, okay, maybe, just maybe, I'm not such a hot mess as I might think that I am. But I thought it was funny. And I'm not sure, I don't recall having seen this person a lot more often in a video or something, so I don't know if that's just how do you say that, character of the person or the personality, or that it was coincident that it happened in that video. I'm not sure, it doesn't really matter. But I always feel that I'm a big mess when I'm doing stuff like this, especially during decorating. But I think I'm a little bit more organized than I give myself credit for. But I think it's just crafty, for a messy business. That's probably just what it is. Okay, so we have that on here. And now I've already folded it somewhere, so I'm just going to refold it. And it might happen to you that your pattern paper is not enjoying it. It might crack on you. It can happen. It's a small strip, so. But when I fold it over, I am going to make sure that there is enough space that it's not too tight, so I can slide it over easy. Okay, and then I'm going to stick these two sides together. I can use some 1/4" tape, I guess, or some glue. Yeah, I always like to have edges to have a good stick. So on one side, there. And then on the other side, oh, that's fine. That's just fine. And if you really want to, you can make score lines and everything, measure it out, but you don't always have to. Okay, so this will go on the back, and then what you can also do is put your embellishment on it, and then you don't see it at all. Maybe we do that. Okay, so I have that now. It's a little loose, but I have to keep in mind that there will be photos in there, and it will get more bulk underneath. Okay, so let's see what we have. I know I have that little small green heart, for example, or yeah, you could do something like this, but I need something small, like this bird here, or we have more birds, we have banner, but for me that's a little bit too big. You can cut things apart, don't be afraid to just like this, you can just cut off a Christmas tree there, but I think I want to use them, so I'm scared to do that right now. So early in the decorating process. Yeah, but that's going to be too much brown on brown. I have some of these leaves here. Maybe I can combine it with something like that. That's what I mean when I say I like to group things. So I also have this brown bird, or the blue one, I think, or did I use it on my cover? I don't think I did. Oh, here it is. Okay, so some small things. And I think maybe this one is just a little bit too big. Is that possible? Kind of liked it with the brown one, but I felt it was a little bit too much brown going on then, but I'm just going for this. I want to make quick decisions, so that's what I'm doing. So, some wet glue. I want to hide the little part where this comes together, and now I need to be careful because now I really only want to have glue on the belly band part. I'll kind of use my fingers as a guide for it. Okay, so just some something a little different. You either like it or you don't. But now I can slide this belly band over here to make sure that that flap stays in place. Maybe I don't want to do it too far in. I'm gonna have the flap go over here as far as I can make that work. And then this will keep that in place. And then I can combine that still with a larger photo there as well, right? I need to make a background photo mat for it, but I can do that in my own time, I think, because like I said, it's not the most fun thing to watch. Okay, so we've created some fun stuff to go in there. Then I also wanted to go to this part here. No, here. All the way at the back. Okay, what I want to do here is I actually want to recreate what I also did in my other album. I thought that worked out really nice. Basically in these pockets you can put a booklet, you can put again larger photo sizes up to 7 by 5 or some combination of photo sizes, but it all gives you a little bit of a vertical look, right? So here I want to create a spot where we can make places for landscape direction photos. So our pockets are here horizontal, and I want to make a strip here for something vertical. Our photos will go in vertical here and horizontal here. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say? I'm trying to break it up and balance it. So I like this strip. I think I said it in a previous video. It has the green that's also in this paper. That's really hard to see on camera, but we have that little splatters here that have that green, but also just in the background of the paper that color is coming through. So that works really well. And the stars or the snowflakes on here are dark blue that we have here as well. And we have snowflakes on here as well. So I think this is a really nice strip to use here. But again, I want to pop that up with a strip of black, like we did on the other piece as well. So again, I need to measure this to make sure that I cut my piece to the right size. So I think I can cut it to 1/2 inch this time. So let's see how I did. Sometimes I need to cut a new strip because I think it's just a little too, not enough, or a little bit too much of black, but this will work for me. Okay, and then I need to cut it to size in length, which should be 8, but I want to check for myself. Yeah. So I'm gonna cut this one to 8. And I will do it again, the thing with the pencil and my scissors to cut the black one to size. Okay, then I can ink it. So what I'm doing with placing the embellishments is I really try to see, are there colors that I need to tie in or that I need to stay away from. I try to keep an eye on, is it going to be too much or is it going to be too plain? But it's, yeah, what looks too much to me might look perfect to you, right? So that's really personal. And I think that's a good thing, because if we all like the same thing, then it would be a really plain and boring world. Okay, so that's going on there. So this is a longer strip, might be a little bit more challenging to get it on there really straight, but I just start on one side. Try to even out and then just go in small parts. And then maybe I want to slide it over if I still have time. And otherwise it's gonna stay where it is. Okay, and again I'm going to do the same thing that I just did on with the other strips. I'm going to try to see for myself, where do I want this to go. Now I know I want to have an embellishment on here as well. and I want to balance everything out. So in order to do so, I like to have some photo mats ready. So these are for 3.5 by 5 photos. That's fitting on here nicely. With a 6 by 4, you need to prop it down, and yeah, 2 just doesn't work. This gives me a little bit more balance on this page. So, but I do want to have background mats for these as well. So I'm going to cut my background mats to a hair under 3 3/4 by a hair under 5 1/4. So again, I just go through some scrap pieces, right, and see like, is this something that I can make work? No, this is too small. This one maybe, yes. And then I have this piece. Okay, so I will stick these 2 down just to make it easy for now. Okay, so this is going to help me to get a view of where do I want to place this strip. And I want to have something of an embellishment there as well. And I like to use like a circle elements. But on the other hand, something blue would be nice, but I've used the blue circle on my front cover. But I could do something like this as well. I don't know if I'm going to like it. Or maybe that one. You could do a tag or something like this. Okay, let's see. One of these it's gonna be, I guess. So what I want to do is have this strip here for balance. And we could have done the same thing that we have been doing in the album and just stuck it down while decorating. It doesn't really matter now. We have an extra layer there. So I want to have these photos to go, I think, on top. So we won't be seeing a whole lot of the strip like this. So another option is to bring it a little closer to the edge. And have it go more like that. And then we see a little more of the strip. And then I might even bring it a little bit more that way. So we balance it out with the pencil line that we made on the paper. So I'm thinking something like this is what I'm going for. So that's why I use the photo mats. It helps me with getting a good view of where do I want to place things. So this is about 1/4 inch away from the cut edge of my pattern paper. So that's what I'm going to aim for. I'm going to stick it down completely. So about 1/4 inch. So I'm basically eyeballing it a little bit now. And then, yeah, that's about right. Okay. So now it feels like, whoa, you put that way too far that way. I agree. But when I'm going to place my photos on there, the balance returns. Right? At least to me. I like this. So I can just wait with placing the photo mats in. I can also just glue my black photo mat down here. Because I can remove the white, right? And replace that for a photo. Or do some journaling on it, by the way. That's also possible. And then I want to have a little something here. But if I glue my photo mats down right now, I can worry about putting this one, gluing that one down, or whatever it is that I'm going to use afterwards. Oh, I also have these, right? But these are a little bit big to my liking, but something like this could work. But you need to have the right photo. It takes up a little bit of the photo there. So that's what you need to think about. Okay, so I'm going to glue my photo mats down because I know they don't have to be removable later on. So I'm just placing them where I want them to be. Use them again as a guideline. Balance out space on top, bottom and in between my photo mats. And I could have done the pencil line on here before I glued them down, but I will do that later. So I'm layering right now in this project. If you've seen more of my projects, you know probably that more than often, no, I didn't say that right. In most of my projects, I won't do this layering, putting photo mats on top of pattern paper, all that sort of stuff. I use my photo mats as part of the decorating, right? As part of the pattern paper to reduce bulk for main reason, but also to save on your pattern paper. It has both advantages, but in this project I know I have the room to do some of the layering. With these type of papers I don't always mind to cover them up with photo mats, but that's all up to you, right? But you always have to keep the bulk in mind. Whatever it is that you're doing, always think about, do I have the space to do this? Now I really would like to have a black background on that circle. That would make it perfect for me. But I don't have my dies, I don't have my die cutting machine. I can try to do it by hand, probably mess it up, but you know what, it's a handmade project. I'm gonna try it. Like I said, I am a real perfectionist and that doesn't always go hand in hand with handmade projects. So but I really enjoy, especially for circles, to have a nice clean cut circle behind it. But I don't have any circle punches, no dies, no nothing, so we're gonna cut by hand. We'll see how it goes. Small scrap piece of black, some glue. So I don't always do it for my die cuts, but sometimes I feel that it needs it, and in this case I really feel that it needs it. So I'm going to take the effort. And as you see, even my die cuts get some ink most of the time, not always, but most of the time. Okay, I think I'm gonna get these small scissors for it. I'm going to cut this a little smaller. I'm far from the world's best fuzzy cutter, but we'll see. The only thing that I do know that really works is to turn your paper instead of your scissors as much as you can. Okay, that's not completely terrible. I do feel that I have a little bit of a thicker edge here. And always be careful, because you might end up making it worse than it was. So don't touch it too much, I guess. That wasn't too bad. Maybe the edge is a little thicker than I would like, but that's okay. So there I have it. Now I have some space. I don't want to stick it on my photo mats, right? Because I still want to be able to remove it. I can go all the way up there. Don't go over the edge of your pattern paper there, but I've already been cutting in some of these. So did I use all of that? No, here I have one. So on this side. And I might even be able to manage to put some small one there in the middle. So I need to think about where can I put adhesive now and where do I don't want to have adhesive. So this is small enough, yeah, that will be fine. Okay. Maybe one next to it. So I cut it in 3 strips, one of these foam dots, because I want it to be thin, not go on the photo mat. Okay, I think that works. So carefully. So I don't do this too much in the album because I don't have space for a lot of the pop-ups. But here and there I can do one. Yeah, that looks fun. So we have our photo mats there. I would make photo mats to go in here, or maybe a booklet for 6x4 photos. But maybe we want to add something on here as well. And here, especially on this side, I need to tie in this a little bit as well. Especially, I feel like I need to tie in the brown a little bit, but I also have to be careful that it doesn't look weird when we have this going on here. So there are a few things that I can look at. Some brown stuff. Where is that blue Christmas tree? Let me see. And I haven't put any of the 3x4 cards or anything in there, but often that's like the last thing that I do basically, unless I have a card that I really feel like, oh, this belongs here on this page. But I don't really have that with this project. Maybe something like that, like a combination of something blue with something brown. I think I like this. And then when I close this, this is what we see. We have some of the brown here as well. And we have the brown there as well. And that ties that in a little bit better together. You see what I mean with that? Like when this wasn't there, it's like, what's the brown doing there basically? But now we tie that in a little bit. So I need to see how I can balance this out. Maybe I need another embellishment to go with that, but I like the combination of this, I think. Or maybe if I do a little switcheroo. No, that doesn't go together. Okay, do I want to ink this? I think I do, just a little bit. Just put a little glue there on one spot where I know that I want to stick these two together. Have it together, and then I'm going to glue it down as one piece. Maybe I want to put some glue in between here to keep it stuck there as well. But again, because this one is going over, so this one is laying on top, I'm not going to put glue all the way to the top for that little feeling of dimension that I mentioned earlier. And I'm placing it on the outside corner. You could also do it on the inside corner. Okay, and then this one. So photo mats in there, that's done. This one here, I'm not sure. So I'm just gonna try because it's a little bit big to my liking. I'm just don't know what I'm doing. I'm just cutting it. Maybe I've cut it in the wrong place, in the wrong angle. Yeah, I just messed that up. That happens. I'm not gonna stick it together again. No. I should have cut it in the other angle. Okay, so that's not gonna be it. I think it needs to be either one of these. Shall I just do that one? Yeah. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to glue this one on there first. Yeah, somewhere there. And now this one. Yeah. Oh, I didn't ink them. Well, that's fine. Doesn't happen to me often and I forget that, but I forgot. Okay. So then, of course, there's a lot more to do, right? Photo mats. But I wanted to go to the other side of the folio for a little bit. Because here on the back, we basically have the same issue as we have on the other side, only vice versa, right? I think we need to create something horizontal here in the middle. That can be a belly band, that can be just a strip that is a sort of a resting point for your photo mat. But because we're gonna go in the other way, I think strips like these are too thin for it. So we have our sticker sheet that I haven't been using a whole lot, but it might work here. So again, I have to think a little bit about, is there any color that I need to bring in here? So we have the same thing here, right? Maybe I need to see if I can add some of the brown there, but I think it works really well to have some of that green in the middle. So we can do this one. I had that in the other album, wasn't 100% in love with it, but it works. This one is a little bit too light. This might be a little bit too thin, but I can see. Yeah, we can make it work. I kind of like it, but then on the other hand, I have that pattern on here already, a lot of pattern going on. But if I see it on some black, it might balance it out for me a little bit more. So let's measure this. Okay, so I need a 1/2 inch strip. So just find yourself something that might work. This one also might work, the same one that we used on the other side. But it's a little on the thin side, but this is the same width, so. I'm thinking, do I want to make it a belly band so we can start, put something in, or do I just want to place a photo on top? And of course I can also use some of this solid green. But let's see if I make a 1/2 inch strip. I may need to ink this actually. It's not too bad, is it? It's kind of fun, and then maybe with a 6x4 photo on top. Could work. Okay, do I want to ink it? So I've inked those edges, at least for a big part, hopefully long enough to make it fit on my pattern paper. So what is this pattern paper? I can cut it in my paper trimmer 6. Okay, and then I'm going to ink that final side there. So if I have this, feel that I need to turn it around. Yep. And I want to put a 6x4 photo on there. Again, to get a clear view, I need to cut my background mat. So the background mat is again 6 1/4 by 4 1/4, or not again, it's the first time that I've got that size, but so I've got it a hair under that measurement to get a little bit of a little less than 1/8 of an inch black border all around. So again, there are a couple of things that we can do. We can have it really like sit on that strip. Then we might want to place it a little closer to the bottom. Or do we want to have it go something like this? And add an extra embellishment there. Probably not that, but we will have to look for something. Yeah, I'm not sure, but no, we can find something there. So I think in this case I like it better a little bit like that. So try to place my photo mat in the middle, I guess, this time. You can totally offset it if you want to, of course, but I think for this time I like it in the middle. And then the belly band there. Now we could add a second one. No, I don't like it. Or like there. But again, no, it doesn't work for me. One is enough. So I think I'm gonna place the belly band somewhere here, which is about 1 3/4 from the cut edge of my pattern paper. So and because I've measured that now, I can go back to that spot and aim for a straight attachment. Okay, and then this one I'm going to glue down as centered as I can. And I'm going to do the pencil marks on here quick. I'm a little bit shy in space for it, but often if I make big projects, before I'm going to make my photo mats, I just sit down, cut up a bunch of white cardstock, draw my borders on it, have them prepared to go while I'm decorating. Okay, I'm going to glue that down. Because again, remember, I can take off my white. So I will, the photo mat that I've made for the stacked pocket with the copy paper, I think I'm just going to replace that one with white cardstock as well. Just, I can always add some white copy paper when I place my photos in there, but for me it's hard to let go of how crooked that photo mat was. Okay. So I would need to add an embellishment here, but I'm not sure what I want to do. I have like this Christmas tree here that could look really great. But maybe that's off balanced with the belly band behind it, but I keep going back to the hearts. Do you notice? Because I love to place hearts in my projects. Can work. I don't have anything like lace or thread or something to put through them. This is what I was looking for. Or maybe this one, which is the star that's also on the belly band. Different color green though. Maybe the wrong color green. You can also add something at the top, right? That's kind of cute. And then to tie in the blue. I'm going to leave it like this. Probably will end up being something like this. Again, photo mats can go in the pockets here. Choose your own sizes. I'm not going to make them all right now. So things like this we can bring back also to places like this. I do like to show you that what we can do on pages like these. And of course right here on the flaps. So that's, I'm going to focus here on one side on the flaps and on these pages to see what we can do there. And then the rest I will do off camera, because I think you've got a good idea of how you can fill this up with photo mats and use your embellishments on it. And yeah, I will do a final walkthrough or a flip through at the end. Okay, so final couple of things. I need to cut some new white card photo mats for 3.5 by 5 photos, because that's what I want to use. Do I want to use that in here? Let me check. What was the size? These are 4, right? Yeah, so we can do that. 3.5 by 5. So I'm gonna cut a few of those photo mats. Okay, there's one more thing that I really want to mention and I'm gonna forget. I think about it right now, so I'm going to mention it right now. Remember how I used this stuff on the cover for some gold shimmer drips, splatters? I will be using that in the album as well, I guess. But I can also do it when the photo is already in. I can just use some copy paper or some scrap paper to cover up parts of the photo where I don't want the splatters to end up, because you don't want to have a splatter straight on the eye or something, and then just add it later on and have that as a final touch. So, and of course I have the golden numbers, right? I shouldn't forget about those. I don't have to use them, but I definitely can add. Let's say I want to add here, this is on the 24th of December, a nice family picture, and then I can also add my 24 here, which is this one and this one, but I don't have to use those. But so I might do stuff like that as well. But we were working on our flaps. So I've got my 3.5 by 5 photo mats. I need to do some background mats, but I think I want to have 3.5 by 5 that will fit in here with a slide background mat. And there. And then I can also have a 3.5 by 5 under the belly band, which now that there's pattern and paper and everything, it's already more snug right there. But I don't like it if that's the same size, so I will probably do 3 by 4. And what I was also thinking, what you can do here is make a booklet and have it go over the belly band, so you're really sure that it doesn't fall out. So I'm thinking, do I want to show you that? I probably do. So if I would do a booklet for a 3 by 4, you have to think about, do I want to have that for portrait photos or for landscape photos? And then it will fold either like this or like that. So I'm going to make it for, oh no, it has to go in there like this. So what am I talking about? It has to go like that. I'm going to make one. So I need, this is for, let's say 4.25, 4.25, 8.5 by 3.5, 3.25. Sorry. So I'm gonna make cut a piece of cardstock black that is 3.25 by 8.5. And I basically want to score that down the middle on the long side. Okay, let's see if I did that somewhat right. Fold it in half. Okay, so this booklet, what I'm trying to say is you can slide it under the belly band with one side and have it go like this. See? You can also make one side shorter or make it into a tag shape. Maybe that's fun. And then you can do some journaling here on the inside. So maybe I want to cut off about 1 inch here. So yes, I just did that. Because I can always make a new one if I really want to, if I don't like it. And I'm going to do a little bit of an angled shape in here. So I'm measuring from the corner here about, let's do 1/2 inch inwards on both sides. And then do the same thing here on the side. Again, 1/2 inch for a 45-degree angle. and get some scissors if I can still find them in this mess. Okay, so cut that off, and then we have a little more like a tag shaped booklet. We can put our 3x4 photo in here. Do some journaling here. So you can put pattern paper here, or maybe some pattern paper and then some white on top. Some pattern paper there. You can make a little hole to make it really like a tag. Add some ribbon or whatever it is that you have. Just make that something fun. Add some embellishments on here. Go crazy. And if you leave it like to the original length, where you have places for 2 photos on the inside, 2 3x4 photos, you can always use, oh by the way, we have 3x3s, right? So I could even do something like, I can cut this down to size, put that on top. That's kind of fun, or this one. But maybe I want to tie in the blue a little bit here. So you can use your cutter parts, even your 3x4, sometimes you can just cut them down smaller, right? It doesn't have to stay like a 3x4 cutter part. So maybe what I want to do is, because it's a little bit on the long side, just cut it down a little bit more. And this is, I cut this to 3 1/4, and this is, so I've cut this to 3 by 3. Okay, and I try to do that where the image stays centered. And then I can cut off like about a 1/8 of an inch there to make it all fit on there. Now that changes the angle a little bit, right? But that's okay with me. Okay. I was thinking maybe I want to do like a green background mat behind it or something, but then I also wanted to have another layer of black behind it. So I'm just gonna leave it like this. But you can take from that idea what you want to take from it. I'm gonna mark on here where I need to cut the angle in my pattern paper. Ink this. And honestly, sometimes waiting with all of this stuff until the last end can make it a little bit of a daunting job, making all those photo mats. And but by doing stuff like this, makes it a little bit more playful again. Might take the boringness away from it a little bit more. But I have that too sometimes, where I really feel, oh no, darn it, I need to make 3 more photo mats in that size, or you know, that's so if that's something that is maybe like, how do you say that? Like a risk for you, then you might want to do this, making your photo mats a little bit more while you go with decorating. Don't have it wait for everything until the last moment. Now here, maybe I would do something on the back as well. And of course I need to do something here. I might do a scrap piece with a little bit of white to make a journal spot. So when I cut my white photo mats, I always have some scrap pieces. So maybe this is just a hair too wide, but I can cut it to 2 by 3. I like that. I'm just going to put it right next to it and then do 1 strip of pattern paper there. So again, I can add like one of the number stickers there if I want to turn this into more of a December daily kind of thing. And then that goes over the journal spot. Just make sure that it doesn't go over your writing. So then I just need to measure, like, what do I need here? About 7/8 of an inch on pattern paper by 3 inches. So let's see what I have in my scraps. Small piece. So I have a lot of these strips, right, that I can use. I could use this polka dot. I haven't used it anywhere else. I can use this one. That's almost perfect, so easy to use it. Just need to cut it to 3 and make an angle in there. Maybe I want it to be a little wider actually. This is also 7/8. This one was a little wider. Yep. So same thing here. Now I don't really mind that I haven't used that polka dot in the book and it is on here. That's fine with me. So just cutting off those angles. Just whipping something up pretty quick. Without too much fuzzing around. A little bit with making the angles. You could also use that pattern there, right? If you want it to be more recognizable. And I could still make a little hole in there to make it really look like a tag. But I don't have my hole punches. So keeping it simple. There we go. We can add a little embellishment here if you want to. I'm not going to do that right now because I think I might want to use one of the number stickers there. But then it depends on what day will go there, what number I need. So I'm not going to do that at forehand. But fun, right? So we can place that in here. I think that is cute. Again, if you're bothered by this standing open, you could always add a little paper clip or something. That might help. I think I'm going to be fine with this right now. I'm still in doubt if I'm going to do some black lines in here. So yeah, you'll see that in the final flip through if I did it or not. So, but I want to spend some time on this side here. I think I'm gonna at least use one of these. And I need a 3x4, so I will make sure that I have them. So here we can add photos, you can add journaling. You don't have to fill every spot on the page if you don't want to. But I think I like it to go here for a 3x4 with a black background mat. You can do a 3x5, but you will lose a whole lot of what we did there. You see the difference in how much space that takes up? And I like what we did here with this pattern paper, and I want to see it at least a little bit. So I think I'm going to do a 3x4 here. We could even do a 3x3 maybe. Let's cut this one down to 3x3, see how we like it. Okay, 3x3, that's nice. So you can do a combination of sizes. I really like this, how this looks. Then on this larger one, we can do maybe one large full-size photo. But again, remember, right, if you're going to flip this close and you have photos on both sides, maybe we want to do something to protect them in the future when the photos are there, like with some tissue paper, or sometimes I've made just an acetate sheet that you can put in between. We can also do a smaller photo, just one. I feel that is not space filling enough for that page. See what I mean there? It still needs a background mat, but still. So if I would do one, I think I would go for a full-size photo. And with a full-size photo, I mean like a 6x4, 10x15 centimeters. But we can do something like this again. I don't know how I like that with 2 photos there, 2 photos there. We can do just one and have some embellishments here. But again, I feel like this is not space filling enough for that page. So I think my full-size photo here is my way to go. So this is what I like to do here. And then add some embellishments. And on these sort of stuff, I like to place embellishments like this. Grateful for this. Something that's or here. I love this. And you can even stick it on top of the photo once the photo is in there, right? So then you would maybe paper clip it here, so you know you want to use it on there. I really use like these trees. I've been saving them because I might want to place them here, which might be a little bit too much green. Or I will do something like this here. See, we can also, like on this page, we can repeat what we did on the background with a strip on the side and have 2 photos there. We can do that on this page and have 1 photo there. Because I feel like I don't have the time to show you every single spread, but at least you know how my ideas come to life now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some background mats for these photo mats that we are going to place here. And then right here, what I'm thinking is, but then I need to close this for a second, right? So you get a better view of what we're looking at. I'll probably do something like this again. And then maybe here a 3x5 or 6x4. Let's get that 6x4 in quickly because I only have 1 of those right now. Sorry for the background noise. See, so I'm playing with that. That can turn out to be something different as well, but yeah, I'll see. Maybe I need to turn that around or something, but this is what's going to my mind right here. To repeat what we did on the other side. At the back. I like that, and then I will see what I will do here. But okay, background mats for this is what we were working on. So I need for a 3x3, for a 3x4, and for a 6x4. Yeah, I like it. Of course it needs some embellishments, but that looks pretty nice to me. You know what, I'm going to stick this down later because I realized that there is this 1 page that we might need to look at together, and I just don't want this to be a 2-hour video, so I will stick all of that down in my own time. And then on this side, because basically we have to deal with the same stuff here, right? So just fill that up however you like to fill it up. And then, but here we have that Christmas tree. So we need to think a little bit about balance when it comes to that page. So let me see, is this a 3x4? Yeah, let me use that for a minute. So on here, I would do 1 photo. It can be a 3x4 photo. It doesn't have to be a big photo. It just depends on how much you're willing to sacrifice of this Christmas tree. So so I need 3 3/4. So that's how a 3x4 would look like, and for 3.5x5 you will be looking at this, and I would place it a little bit more to the top corner and add probably something fun here, but you can, of course you can do something like this and have something on top here. But I want to get 6x4 quickly. Well, I'm not sure how quick that's going to be, but because that is just going to be too overwhelming for me. You see, so that's, for me, that's too big. So that's, I think this is the right size to go for, 3.5x5. And then, and here, you know, you can do whatever looks good to you. So there are a few things I have, like for example here, family moments, but this has the same background as my paper here. That's a little, I would need to do something with that to make that work. I have Christmas magic here, for example. That can definitely work. Again, I'm looking at the hearts. We can do something like that. We can put that star up there, but that's a little bit too much. Maybe also because I have that there, but we have some tags. I have my numbers, of course. This is really big, a little bit too big. We have the blasts that I kind of like, but I think this is more balanced in size. So it doesn't always have to be much, but maybe if you want to feel like, okay, I need to add a little bit more here, or I want to tie in the brown here a little bit, we can use a scrap piece of brown and just make a banner that goes with this, for example. So this is a little over 1/2 inch. So maybe if I would do like a 3/4 inch strip from this, and that's might be a little on the long side. So I will see later how I want to cut that down. But what I can do is 3/4 inch, so 3/8 inch is the middle. So I'm going to mark that here and then come in 3/8 inch on the sides. And then cut that point. So I just found the center and the same amount that you have. It's like 3/8 inches the center on the short side. So that same amount I'm going down on the long side to get again a 45-degree angle to make that point there. And we can do something like this, for example. So I want to cut off about there. So just use some pattern paper to create a little embellishment there. Something like that is what we can do over there. I might add a little black pencil line on there depending on if I'm going to do it there as well. But this is coming to life, right? I really like what's happening. I hope this is giving you a good idea of how to tackle this part of the decorating. I think I'm going to finish up all of this off camera because I'm not sure. I feel like this video is like super duper long already. I always try to keep them under an hour. I'm for sure that's not going to happen for this one, but that's okay. But I hope you got an idea of the things that we can do in this album with our photo mats. You don't have to do everything right now. You can wait until you have photos and then figure out how you want to do things, right? But it's a good idea to know like what photo sizes do I want to use. And then try to balance out spreads that are next to each other basically. And try to see if you need to tie in some color with your embellishments. That is like the main thing that I'm looking at. Yeah, I'm gonna finish it up and then I'm excited to share like a final flip through with all of you. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and I already have ideas for a second latte project. So hopefully I will have time to start on that one pretty soon. So thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your day. See you in the next video. Bye bye.